Okay. And good evening. Welcome to Marshall Men. We got a special guest, the logo. The dog, guys. Here's the dog that gave us, or I should say, Renee, the inspiration for the logo.
The one and
Penelope
only
at her finest.
Penelope Monster.
And I have a few stories about Penelope. Uh, but very, very funny dog. Uh, so you had a birthday, right?
Yeah.
Not Penelope, you did.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday, 54.
So I trust. Yeah, no, April. It just turned 60, April 21st. It's like I know it's weird. Because I don't feel 60. I don't feel like I act 60. But you nevertheless, I'm 60.
You know what? I think it's just such a. It's we're in such a weird time where we like when I think of my dad when he was like 50, I was like, oh my god, I better walk him to the car. You know what I mean? And here I am at
I know,
54,
I
and I'm
know. It was
like,
or back then, 80s was like, oh,
here at 54,
I
and I'm still
know,
fighting.
I know. I
It's
know
like,
exactly what you mean. You're like, oh my God.
Ken, stop looking at me like that.
Oh,
I will feed you.
yeah. But
I'm
so
I'm
tonight you're
trying to get
watching.
her to
Tell us who
jump
you are
off, but
watching from. Smash that like button, and we have. Oh, no worries. We have Tim Dobson, and we're going to be talking about his journey and, more importantly, Bando. I can't wait to hear about this because I've always been interested and fascinated with it from the outside looking in. But that doesn't mean I know much
100%.
about it. So, without further
Well,
ado,
it's
yeah,
funny that Eric O'Brien
here
was
he is.
talking about how he loves bondage, and I was like, wrong show, wrong show.
Yeah, that's right. And he's been asking me to come on about that. Unfortunately, I had to let him down easy. Just that I we can't do that. Why is this not?
Hey,
All right, here we go. All right, there he is. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
thank you so much for the opportunity. This is awesome. Yeah, can't believe it. I'm
Yeah,
sort of
so
putting my notes to screw up and
yeah, we keep it
let you guys know
pretty
about
easy.
Bondo. I'd be more. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
So
tell
actually,
us
what?
Tim,
about your
this is
journey
actually really
before
cool for me
Bondo.
because I've heard a lot about you. I never, like we had a brief moment to chat, a couple weeks ago, but
Oh yeah.
a lot of my friends and people that I really respect talk really they speak really high of you. So I'm really looking forward to having a chat.
Yeah. No, that's great, and I'm really happy to hear that. You know, I do my best out there. Try not to piss people off, and if I piss them off, I make sure I put them in the
Oh
ground.
no, hey, wrong show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, again, appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about Bondo and answer any questions anybody might have about Bondo. It's been doing it for '96. I met Dr. G, and I started training in Bondo in '97, and never looked back from there.
I'm still blown away. Like
It's
from the
crazy.
last
Wow,
time
that's a
we
long
spoke,
time.
that Dr. G is still alive. Like to be honest with you, like it's I c- I can't believe it.
I'm actually going to see. I'm going to see him June, sometime the first week of June. I'm going down to
Wow.
Baltimore to. So yeah,
And where's he live?
it's going to be a whirlwind of people to visit on the way. But so yeah, sorry,
Where's he live?
I didn't hear that. In Baltimore, Maryland.
Where does he live? Baltimore,
Baltimore,
Maryland. Okay. All right.
Maryland. Yeah. He was in Georgia for a short time, and no, not a short time, probably about 10 years, and then before that, he was in Athens, Ohio, for probably 30 plus years. And that's when I started training. Was in Athens at the camps, and we would go to a place called Stroud's Run. It's part of the Wayne National Forest, and that's where most of the camps were held that I attended. Most of the Bondo training is outdoors. you don't very often see Bando guys in gis and stuff because we're outdoors all the time. So we're in BDU pants and black boots and black t-shirts. That's our basic dress for our training because again, most of it's outside and we're crawling on our bellies up and down hills and rolling and falling, all kinds of depending on what camp it is. There's a lot
Can
of
you
physical activity and it's
can you give us some like background, like what is Bondo? Like for some of the people out there who do not know what Bondo is and
okay.
where it
Well,
came from.
we'll go to the beginning then. Like Dr. G, his Dr. G's father was commissioned by the Burmese government. It's called Myanmar now, but it was Burma back in World War II. So after World War II, in and around 1948, Dr. G's father was commissioned by the Athletic Club of Burma, the official government athleticism committee. He was commissioned to go out around the villages and gather all the information he could about Bando, and basically come up with the preservation of the Hatha Wada Banda system, and that's what we're studying today. So he, of course, taught it to Dr. G, and then Dr. G brought it to America in around 1958 when he first came over. Dr. G went to university in Washington D.C. Um, and the original American Bando Association was officially formed. I want to say 1968. I could be corrected on that. It might be 66 or 7, but I think it was 1968. The American Bando Association was formed, and it's been going on until 20, 2020, I want to say, or 2017. And Dr. G closed the books on the ABA, and is now going to be moving it forward into the National Bando Association of America. So during that time, of
And
course, sorry, go ahead.
so and again, just gonna give people some background. Is it a weapons based? Is it a hand to hand? Like
That's the really wonderful thing about Bando. It is a very eclectic and very diverse system. We have weapons, edge weapons, stick weapons, and empty hand techniques. We basically have three categories that we talk about. There's DHO, that's the empty hand system. There's DHOT, which is dope, which is the stick system. And then there's DHA, which is the edge weapon system. Now, we have a kukri in our system. That's not a traditional Burmese weapon. The Burmese weapon is a da. It's similar to the a katana, but a little bit shorter and a bit more wide at the end of the blade. It's a lot lighter. That's the da is the traditional Burmese weapon. The kukri is in the system because of Dr. G's father. He was a
mhm.
Gurkha in the 10th Princess Mary Owen Gurkha Rifles,
Oh
and
shit, he's a Gurkha. Nice.
Dr. G's father was a Gurkha. Yes, sir. Yeah, and anyway, after World War II, of course, things Japanese were pushed out, and things changed in Burma, and Banda was born. Banda was actually across the Southeast Asia. You'll find it in India and Pakistan, and across the United States. Of course, Dr. G brought it in and proliferated across. There's a good contingent in the D.C. area and the West Coast too, out in California and in Texas. There's some fellows there. There's another Bondo fellow named John Collins, a master who came up. I'm not sure when him and Dr. G got together, but John kind of went to the West Coast with folks out there, and Dr. G sort of was overseeing everybody, but mostly at the Athens area, and then now he's back in D.C. again, Baltimore, Maryland. So we
Was
floated
there
around.
was there an art that predated like Bondo sort of thing? Was it called something else prior or
I couldn't answer. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I can only go back to basically World War II and China, Burma, India theater, and then and what I know from there on how Bondo was brought to the states and how it was found. But I think it was a kind of a I don't want to say a hodgepodge, but there was a lot of different dialects of the system all around. When Dr. G's father went out to the villages and brought it back and kind of refined it and recorded everything and came up, and then it's the Hatha Banda system. So it's, but again, it's very eclectic. Kicking, punching, elbows, knees, headbutts are allowed in Burma. So if you were to look at the fighting
you
style,
know
you
what? They're
probably
allowed in
most
my
people look at it
basement
and
as
say it's
well.
Muay Thai. Yeah, we practice the
Just ask me.
the fighting, but in order to practice that way, we're not going to have a tournament with Lethway. Nobody's going to do headbutts in a tournament. It's just not going to happen. So we do
Yeah, yeah.
practice. Where the we know it's there. When we do our self defenses, we certainly use it. But as a traditional day to day fighting, we're doing basically Muay Thai style kick, elbows, knees, punches, kicks. It's all allowed. So
Like I
and then when we
remember
get
running into
So is there?
a Bondo cat back in the late '90s, and I was like really like impressed by what I saw. But again, because there was no besides yourself, I didn't know any Bondo people out here. I was
Yeah,
actually
it's unfortunate that it's not more well known, but it was actually done on purpose. Dr. G did not want to commercialize the art. I think whether he looked around and just seen
Good
things
for
he
him.
didn't like, or he decided very early on that we weren't going to commercialize it. So a lot of the schools will be teaching other things in the beginning, especially like 60s, 70s, because you weren't allowed to make money teaching Bando. It was a taboo to charge money to teach Bando.
I
My
love
first
it.
three students, I
Mm.
didn't charge them. I told them what their criteria was, and they had the first two. I told them you have to fight because they were a lot older than the other person. But yeah, the second one, she more than earned her stripes. But I didn't charge them a dime the first three. I charge now,
I
but I charge
belong
$50
to
a month.
I used to belong to a group called the JKD family, and Steve Koos and Paul Irish. I remember
All
like
Irish.
seeing a picture, like a picture with them with Dr. G and the Kukri, and do some training with them, and they were telling me like this stuff's like crazy. You should come check it out, and like yeah, so like I have
Yeah, I
like
brought Dr. G down 2003, April 2003. I remember it well because in August 2003, I was promoted. Well, I graded and promoted to black belt. And we were on the way back from the seminar, and I was in the back
mhm.
of the car with Dr. G. Gives me the knee slap that he often does and digs into your thigh, and he goes, Timmy, you're going to be late training for your black belt this August. And I'm like, look at him, and panic sets in. And I've been doing it for 7 years, so it took me 7 years to get my black belt in Bando. But I'll tell you what, when I got there for that camp, I was as ready as anybody could be. And 3 days of putting me through the punches and the tests and up and down the hill, climbing ropes and push-ups, sit-ups, you name it. They would just throw it at you. And on Sunday, you
That's
got to get
awesome.
up and perform all your Sunday. You get up there when you can't even hardly stand or see, and you got to perform all your material. And they kind of got me a couple times because they made me repeat some things. And I get the thing down. I ace. Oh man, I did such a great job in my head, right? And then all of a sudden, Dr. G, do it again. I'm like, oh crud, what did
Huh.
I do? So I do it again. No, I aced that thing. I know I did it. Do it again. Oh man. So I did it again, right? They were just
So
trying to mess me up.
sorry, Tim, where are you located?
Myself right now
Yeah.
in Union, Ontario,
Okay.
near just south of London, about half hour south of London, between St. Thomas and Port Stanley. I live in the country. I've got
Nice.
nice little piece of land. I got about 5 acres, and we have a big ridge and creek that run down. So we have a ravine here. I've got big drain tiles. You see those big drain tiles and stuff in the construction sites. Well, they're not safe if they leave anything behind. I'll grab it and I'll put it down my ridge. We put ropes in them. We climb up through there. I got ropes in trees. Ropes going horizontally across trees. It's got knife throwing knife boards all over the woods. I mean, it's we try to have some fun out here. Dr.
Love
G,
it.
when
Awesome.
he's very, it's very, especially with the kukri camps and stuff like that, it's very military sort of style involved, right? When we put on our uniforms, we become very focused, and like, not we don't focus all the time, but kukri camps are a little bit different, a little bit more military style. The same with the DAW and the K bar. I mean, let me back up a little. We have the three systems. So there's the DOE, the empty hand, the stick hand, and the edge weapon. So under each of those, there's three more categories. So the empty hand, you have your kickboxing side, you have your forms, right? And then with the stick, you have your short stick, and then your punyo stick, right? We also have one with a lanyard on it, we call a fist stick. Then we
Hmm.
have a medium, a little bigger than a Cali stick, and then we have the full staff, which is usually typically the staff. If you hold your hand up straight up like this and you cup your hand, that's about as tall as your stick you want to be. But we also have another stick that has a sword on the end of it, which is good for a form called stick of steel. A little bit of variances, but basically there's three categories under each of the three categories: short, medium, and long weapon. Right. And the same as
That's
the
awesome.
with the edge weapon, we have the K bar or the dagger, then we have
Yeah.
the kukri, medium,
Mm.
then we have the longer sword, and we also, which is not very well known in the system, but the minda, which is about a 6 foot sword, and traditionally was used for fighting on an elephant. You're on your elephant, and the other guy's on his elephant, and you know you're fighting with these long swords. But we have two forms. One's called the
Wow.
Sword of the King. The other is simply called the minda, which we do a series of cuts and so many sets per.
Is this a like a single-sided sword, or like
Yeah,
is
single
it
sword.
like
We also
sharp?
have double as well, and most of our swords are sharp only on one side. Right? So our dagger's a K-bar style, and that's because we use our backhand sometimes to help assist with things or to keep things from kicking back too. So it's nice to have
Hmm.
that But we don't use a double sided. Kukri, of course, is one sided. Our DAW is one sided. The K bar one sided. Now K bar is not my preferred choice. I like something a little meatier than that, but it's a good training tool, and we do a lot of stuff with it. One of the things we do with our swords and our sticks and our hands is we hit things, right? So we'll have logs hanging from trees, and we'll walk up and do a full strike with our stick, or we'll break cinder blocks with the tip of our stick. Same as our cane system. We have the walking cane.
Oh,
There's
nice.
Bando. I keep talking about how diverse it is. There's so many systems on its own, but each one could be a system on its own. It's art of itself. The cane system, you could study that system like, for a lifetime and still have lots of material to do just in the cane alone. And you have your cookery, and you have your dog. Each of these categories could be, you know, 5, 10 years of learning just on their own, right? So it's just such an eclectic system. To get it all, I don't think so. And then also too, I haven't mentioned the animal systems yet. We have 9 animals in the system, and each of the animals has its own specific way of fighting and emulating the animal that it represents. So we got 2 cats, a panther, and a tiger. We got 3 snakes, a python, a viper, and a cobra. We got a bull and a boar, an eagle, and a scorpion. And each one has its own sort of different how they fight. Tiger, I studied the tiger system. I have been for a while. And when we strike, we hit with the palm and we grab the flesh, tear. Right. We also have the teeth where we get up into the throat and things like this. The animal systems are very nasty. They're not for everybody. I don't teach them to children or anything like that because everything's meant to kill with the animal systems because they're animals. They're
Sorry,
nice.
I was born under the Bohr sign, so I have to
No, there we
ask
go.
what is the Bohr system?
A lot of elbows and knees, more for stocky people. When I first started in Bando, yeah, said, "Oh, he's going to be a bore. He's going to be."
Love it. Yeah,
It is right.
it makes
It is,
sense. I'm just saying.
but yeah, my students actually, Kat, studied with David Keeney, the poor master, and they've been trying to get her to sort of step in and take it up, and she's honing and hawing about it. I'd like to push her a little farther, but she's got some. She's got married and she's got a couple of new kids, new stepkids, so she's got a lot on her plate right now. But she's thinking about taking it up, so I hope she does because it'd be great to have her do that. All of our
Nice.
masters are retiring, so all animal masters, and then they have their seconds. So most of the original masters are sort of stepping back, retiring because these guys have been doing this for 60. Some of these guys joined Dr. G in the 60s and trained with him right up until he retired. And
It's a
in
long
January
time.
2020, or
Well,
for a basic a
it's
goodbye
like when
dinner for
you
Dr.
like when you came on and you said Dr. G was still alive. It kind of blew my mind because I thought he had passed on already.
Yeah, no, he does not. He's well alive and well. He's certainly he's not his old self for sure. He's 93 or 94 years old right now. So but he's doing great.
So
He
he's the
called me on
same
the way.
age as Dean, which is amazing.
Ah, there you go.
Which is, I mean,
Like, sorry,
wow.
Dean, I don't want to speak for you, but it
Oh no,
just,
no, 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 no. I got a few questions. I guess so there is it safe to say that there's kind of the reality self defense modules, but then again, sport too, right? I mean, there's a sport aspect to it.
Certainly, yeah. We have well, Dr. Z always says there's public demonstration, there's combat. So let's in the cookery system, for instance, we talk about the 3 C's. So one is combat, one is ceremony, and one is communion. So the communion is simply I commune with my sword, I make it part of myself, and there's a couple of different rituals that we do that way. And then the combat is fairly evident. It come at you with the cookery. It's going to be nasty. But the ceremony part is more of a public demonstration, where the drills are synchronized. It's done with music. We all have our uniforms on. There's a drill instructor who calls out the drill sets, and so it's very powerful. Actually, we do it in front of veterans groups and things like that, and it's very well received. And but yeah,
so
it's more of a public. When we do those cuts, they come. It's very exaggerated, right? With the community or the ceremony type of cookery. When we're doing the combat cookery, things are a little more tight. Like you're not going way out sword to, when you're doing a demonstration, of course, you want to show off a little bit, right? So we end the pose. I'll show you a little bit in a bit. Sure, you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
no, that'd be awesome.
So
I guess so. When you start out, like I know you're saying there's three modules, and those 3 modules, there's 3 under them. Like, do they? I mean, did he start you out with the weapons first, empty hand first, or is it not that regimented?
Was my first experience. I just got lucky. I got invited to a cookery and K-bar camp, and I went in there, and next thing you know, we got a live steel in our hands, and we did it all weekend. We did use some wooden swords for a little bit, but most of the time we were using live steel. And that's something I like to say too. I've been doing 25 years of cookery camps, and not one time was anybody ever injured with a cookery. Not one time. Two times there was an injury. One was from a fishing line because guys got a little carried away with their trip wires and started making a spider web, and a girl went through it, and the wire snapped. I don't know if you know anything about fishing line, but it's nasty, and it cut her right underneath the eye. And another gentleman was we
Oh,
had two and some logs hung on a rope, and we were going along doing your cookery run, just going on hitting them like they were like you're lopping off heads, if you will. And anyway, the tube came around, and the wire that it was hanging on the rope with had come dislodged a little bit, and again it caught him just under the eye again. But those are the only two injuries in 25 years. Can you imagine that? These people going through the woods with cookeries were doing somersaults, we're logs and cutting tubes and cutting bamboo, and not one single cut from a cookery that I ever seen in 25 years. So
Come
that speaks to Dr. safety
here.
he's got
regime
a great
because
track record.
I don't want to screw up Dr. James in the camp. I can tell you that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was my
Here's
first
another
camp, and then after
question for you.
I kept going to the camps, and there'd be a kickboxing camp, there'd be a summer camp they called it, which was like animal camps. All the animal masters would be there and teach different things, and you pick things up. And then I started going down to I'd go a day early to the camps because Dr. G taught on Thursday nights in Athens. I go to those classes. I just every chance I got, I'd be back down in the states getting what I can.
Yeah, yeah,
Tim
yeah.
Hartman was actually quite helpful. He started bringing Dr. G into Buffalo, so that was only a 2 hour
Dr. J,
drive, two
yeah,
and a half hours.
Dr. Tim, right, right. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, every chance I got, it was there. And Dr. G speaks very highly of Tim. He's known him for a long time, and also Remy Prices and Dr. G met, I believe, in 1999, became immediate friends. Dr. G helped Remy Prices with his hip. I was standing there, and all of a sudden, Remy says, "Let me show you what this man did for me." And he picks his leg up, and he basically put his knee on his chin. Right after doing some Danda yoga with Dr. G and some Letha yoga.
Oh, wow. All right.
We have a yoga in our midst too. We have what they call longi yoga, which is done with a rope. You have the loops around your wrists, and you have the length of rope, kind of like a plow. So you roll around your wrists as you tighten up into the different postures. And we also have one where we put it on a ring, and you can tie your rope onto there, and then have several people. Here, let me see if I can show you that. Yeah, I'm not sure how you can see that ring in the center. The ropes attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then? We all lean back, and we all work together, and you just put yourself in these postures using the rope, right? So that's an anchored one, and you can do it just by yourself. There's a couple more shots here. I don't know if you see Gary Layton there. So you just use the rope to help you get into the postures and get into those stretches that you might not be able to do. And we do the same thing with the staff.
Mm.
That's or Danda yoga rather. Sorry, the same thing with just different stretches with the staff. It's just we call the staff. We have the three H's: the hurting, the healing, and the harmonizing. For the harmonizing, you're kind of just walking along in nature, enjoying life, and then you got your healing. You can stretch with it, or if you start using that stick, you can really do some damage. Most of the
Well,
Bando
it's
stuff
actually it's really cool because actually Dean did that to me when I first met him. He had
He's making us.
there
So
was a
you're
rope involved, and I woke up the next day. It was amazing.
you're from Canada, right, Renee?
Yeah, I live in Milton.
Oh, no kidding. And my daughter lives very near the tower. There's a big plaza there with the Montanas and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
I'm actually like 2 minutes away from there.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I think it's Pedigree Court or something like that. She's on. And Dean,
Oh,
you're in the U.S.
listen, I'll tell you right now. Whenever you want to train, or whenever I could train with you, I would love to come and hang
Oh
out.
yeah. Oh, by all means. Yeah, that'd be great. And Mark
Yeah,
Medeiros and I have trained together
yeah.
there a
He
couple of
he.
years
Uh,
during COVID. Camped
Mark,
out.
Mark, and my friend Steve Leeds. He actually they both speak very very highly of you.
Steve Lee's a great guy. I haven't seen him for a while, but yeah, super guy.
Yeah, he's Steve's like 10 minutes from my house, so it's like
Still working?
yeah. What's that?
Is he still? still working.
Oh yeah,
Last time
he's working.
he was.
He's
What was the
working on being a
question?
nice person, which is really hard for him. But
We got a question that
no,
came in
like
from Dr. Kelly. Can you see the question, Tim?
I cannot. I got something in front of me that says "app be live," and I got a bunch of little bubbles below. And yeah, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to this stuff, guys. So I got you
Okay.
on my phone too.
yeah,
I,
me too.
well, I wanted to be in the school in case.
I can, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
any questions? Ask away.
I can read the question. So, staff stretching sounds interesting. Any information on your website?
On the ABA website, yes, there should be. I'm not sure what you'll be able to see for as a public person, but there's a lot of stuff on there. I've actually planning a stick camp toward the end of the fall, around probably
Oh, nice.
mid, and I want to do a cookery camp sometime in July or August, but I haven't
Where
sort of nailed down a,
where are you going to do your camp?
in my house, in my place here in Union. We've got the outdoors. I've got lots of room inside too, so and everything's kind of set up.
What's your
We tried to have
website?
one
Just so I can put in the comment
uh,
section. What's your
ABA
website?
website, bandoassociation.com. There's a couple of Facebook pages out there. One is public,
BondoAssociation.com.
American Bando Association, yeah,
Okay.
and as well as our
AmericanBondoAssociation.com.
Sorry, Tim.
yeah American
How far
Bando.
is Union from Milton?
About an hour and a half, if that. If you drive like me, about an hour and 10.
Okay, we got to train then. Like this is bullshit. We got to train.
Absolutely, no, I'd love to. The more I can share the Bando experience, the better, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's all good stuff. Like I'm pretty biased against it all, but I see other stuff out there and some of the stuff online, and then I just okay, that's you do you. But
I try to be nice, but I'm having a hard
We
time.
have we
I'm having a really hard time right now.
yeah. Yeah, we all see the nonsense out there. So another thing with the healing thing, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Indian clubs. Have you heard of these India clubs?
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
yeah. So that's another one of the things we do a lot of when we're training, especially for a kukri camp or a daw camp or a cane camp, because we're going to be thrusting the cane into cinder blocks and knocking over logs and things like this. So it's they really Dr. G's really designed it around training you hard and making everything powerful. We want to end it quick. It's kind of known system, right? Back in the 60s when the guys were going around doing the tournaments and fighting and things like this, the Bondo guys were cleaning up. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before, but every time they hit you, you felt like you get hit by a truck. And this just went on for years and years. Dr. G and Bruce Lee, uh, Joe Louis, John Rhee, um, all these fellas. I mean, they were all touring together, going on the tournaments and demonstrations together and stuff like this. Lots of great stories about Dr. G and Bruce Lee sparring. You know, just having a good time training with each other. They weren't trying to hurt each other. They were just learning from each other, having a great time. Dr. G said to me one time that Bruce Lee was the most brilliant mind he ever met in a young person. And he was very sad when he passed away. Same as Ed Parker. Dr. G and Ed Parker were very good friends too. They shared a lot of information together. They weren't competitors. They were sharing. They all came over at the same time, right after World War II, 60s, 70s. Chuck Norris, as a matter of fact, also was training at Dr. G's camp. And Dr. G refereed many of Chuck Norris's fights with Joe Louis and those guys. Um, in the Muhammad Ali fight, is it Granella, or not Gorilla? Thrilla in Manila, sorry. There was a kickboxing fight just before the Ali fight on that card, and Dr. G refereed that fight. So if you were to look
Wow.
that up, you'd see that. First time a kickboxing fight was on the, I think it was the Wide World of Sports, I think they used to call it, something like that. Anyway,
Wide
there have been
World of
kickboxing
Sports.
fights,
Yeah.
big televised kickboxing fight. And I can't remember who the competitors were, but Dr. G refereed that fight. And I think that was in 74 or 5. So, yeah. And back in the 60s, Dr. G
74.
also for all the karate tournaments and stuff like that. On the board, all kinds of different organizations making the rules for the tournaments and stuff. Yeah, very very well respected right from day one. And like I said, he didn't want to commercialize it, and he didn't. So it may be that we've suffered a little bit for that just because of the popularity. If you talk to most people, Bondo, what's that, right? So, but at the other
Yeah.
end of it, I think it was a good decision. Good decision, And it's pretty hard to
I think
to become a
so.
black belt in Bondo.
Well, I actually think it's in
Years,
Wild World of
and
Sports as well. They said that
in stone, but it's changed a little.
Sorry, I was just saying in Wild World of Sports, they actually said that episode 355 from the old Dean Franco show was one of the best episodes they ever saw. And, you know, it was like life changing for a lot of people.
So it's it's construed as the Hall of Fame of episodes.
It,
You know what I
it,
mean?
hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dean, go ahead.
He's having a moment. Here's a question for you, Tim. What would you say to the
Sure.
folks who are watching? Like, what is the big difference, if any, or noticeable differences between the Burmese style of boxing versus Thai boxing?
You know what? I don't see a huge difference except for the
Which
headbutts
is
being legal.
okay.
If you look at Muay Baran is probably really close to the Lethwei style, right? Very similar elbows, spinning elbows. They use the knee and the hip as a ladder to climb up and come down with those big spiking elbows. They also jump up, do like a triangle around the neck, do a double spike on the back. All that stuff. Like I said, most people if they were watching a Muay Thai fight or a Lethwei fight until a headbutt was employed, they probably wouldn't notice a difference at all.
Beside
Very
the
very
head.
similar.
Okay.
Side by side, right? And constantly over the years, the villages would get together and have huge festivals and compete with their best fighters. And it would, it was a big festival all the time. But it was Burmese and Thailands fighting each other. Sometimes they'd fight Lethwei rules. Sometimes they'd fight Muay Thai rules. It just depended on the fighters, I guess, and the coaches and that. There's a
So,
fellow named Dave.
what about Kamika Bong? Because
Yeah,
Kamika Bong and they're in Burma, like they had a lot of like similarities with their stick and sword
I
fighting sort of thing. Is there anything you can?
can't really speak to that. I'm not sure, but I know there are a lot of similarities. The other arts in Burma I'm not familiar with at all. Really, I don't know. I only know about the Hatwadi Bando and what Dr. G brought to the States. So,
Like I
um,
seen some of the oh God, well I can't remember this right now. The um Jesus Christ, I can't remember. Um, some of the weaponry is very very similar. So I'm just trying to figure out if there was a how different it actually was.
yeah, well, with the original DAW is completely different. You can see a lot of good stuff now. A lot of stuff coming out of Myanmar now that like 10 years ago you couldn't see anything, but now there's a lot of stuff getting out, and you'll see a lot of the DAW performances and a lot of double DAW, which is really
Hmm.
great stuff. Really great stuff, and there's more and
And
more of it
how
coming out.
big are the DAWs right now? Like in
They're here. I'm going to take my phone off here, and hopefully it doesn't kick out. I got it in a good spot. What happened? Oh, you're back. All right. So traditional DAW. Can we see that? Okay. Yeah. So this is a traditional DAW here. That's what it would look like. Can you see that kind of? I don't have one, or I would show it to you.
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a traditional. Okay. So it feathers out a little more,
Hmm.
but they're about 3 feet long.
Yeah,
They're not.
exactly. 3 feet. That's the
Yeah. And they're used. They're very utilitarian. The same as a kukri is to a young kid in Nepal. They might get one. They're 5 or 6 years old and out in the fields, cutting rice and things like this. And the same as a daw in Burma, they would be using that very early on in the villages and stuff, right? And then, of course, everything that you can use is you can use it as a weapon. So if you're not going to
oh for
cut rice,
sure.
then so, so
And they
yeah.
have
So that's
the
the.
really like long
You know,
hilt on them as well.
I'm sorry.
They have a really long hilt as well.
Yes, yes. The hilt is probably not quite a third, but probably a good quarter of the sword. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe close, getting up to a third. It's long, a big hilt on it. Yeah, 2 hands, no problem for sure. And the staffs, like I say, I'll just grab you a staff real quick. So in Bando, you won't see any Bando folks using a pencil bow. We use bamboo or ironwood. Again, we're hitting blocks of wood and cinder blocks and things like this. So this is a bamboo one. It's a pretty good stick. It's fairly light, right? We put a red mark on one end because it's important to know which end is which.
Hmm.
And then this one, You can see the knots are very close together on this one. This is Calcutta bamboo. This is super strong stuff. I can break bones with this, no problem. The thing about bamboo is it doesn't shatter like other sticks, right? It'll splinter and get smushy, but it won't break.
Mm.
And you
Stuff
have
like
like
that.
a mysock as well, which is like pointy, right?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Like a mysock, which is the like Entire wooden elbow, which is like it's just like a piece of wood that goes across your elbow, but they have a more pointy as well.
Yeah, we have, and again, the system being as expanded as it is, we have a wizard system, a wizard. So they keep the small stick in their sleeve, right? And they have rounded ends on those sticks. And I don't know that system very well. I've only trained it a couple of times, but
Hmm.
it's kind of part of our monk system. So the monks, sort of the higher echelon, you've reached a certain age, and you're kind of not going to be fighting anymore. You're kind of not going to be doing weapons anymore. So the monks use the cane and the staff and their sash, right? And they're defensive. They don't go looking for trouble, but if you give them trouble, they're going to defend themselves and take care of business.
Yep.
Just like any monk, all the monks are sort of the same, I guess. So we have that system in the Bando system as well. But it's more for the higher echelons, the elders as we call them, right? And yeah, just another
We
branch.
call those the Francos.
How's that? Sorry, Frank goes.
We call the higher like echelon, the Francos, like the
So, very quick across your shoulders like this. This is a really good one for you. I'm going to take it. I want to get the left side of my stick to the outside of my right foot. And I look up. I'm just going to hang there for a minute, right? And then another one, a good one is just see if I turn this way. I put my stick out to the end. I want to just lean in my hips onto the stick and just hang there, and then just come back, right? And there's about 30 postures using the stick, and there's also seated postures where you sit on the ground and do some stretching with it. So it's really good stuff. Again, when you're going to start swinging it around, it's good to stretch first and just be able to use the weapon you're going to be hitting things with, to be able to sort of stretch with is kind of cool. So
Yeah. It's funny. I watched
um,
this video. This is some years back, but it was one of the best demonstrations that I ever saw. And it was a Bando guy doing double sword. I mean, he had the whole garb, like the hat. I mean, but it was incredible. It was
was
this guy was
it,
just, it was incredible. It was so aesthetically pleasing, you know.
yeah, was it with a
Huh?
daw or with kukri? No, do you know if it was double daw or double kukri? Because there's been some great stuff over the years, different tournaments
They
and
were
things where
longer.
guys both long daw. Then yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, um,
Yeah, they were longer.
yeah. Um, as far as kukris go, like I said, I don't have a traditional daw here, but our normal cookers we would use are like this. Okay, how are we doing this here? There we go. This one here, these were a cache, the Atlanta cutlery purchase. There's like 16,000 cookeries found somewhere and had been left over, and from World War II service models. And anyway, they found them and got them. So those are the traditional ones we use. You can still buy them. Relics in London has them. Price has gone through the roof. I've got probably a dozen of them. I only paid $50 a piece for them. Now they're like 129, 140 for the same sword. Um, when you buy, if you're going to look at a cookery, though, make sure you get something with a full tang. Anything that's got scribbles on the blade or any kind of mother of pearl on the handle, those are just wall hangers. They're no good for anything. Tourist
what
models,
is
right?
the okay, so like speaking on that, what is the it looks like an M cut on the bottom of the blade. What is that for?
You're talking about this here.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. They call that the cho,
Mm.
and that is. There's lots of people say, "Oh, it's for stopping the blood to run down your hand." Well, that's not true because the blood could run down the back of the blade just as easily. So that's not going to work. A lot of people think it's for catching the blade of another swordsman. That's a possibility. In Nepal, where these swords come from, the cow is a very sacred animal. Some people say it also looks like the hoof of a cow.
Very cool.
Now, there's also another mention of the goddess Shiva, and the apparatus of a female god, right? So there's all those things, and nobody seems to know the right one. So
Okay.
it's called it, but you can check around. Some of them are very defined like this. Some of them are actually closed over,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just
I was told it was a bottle opener. That's why I was wondering.
So this is a different one, a little smaller. This sword is actually from 1941. This is a cooker. You can see the difference in the way the blade is shaped. This one looks more like a
Mm.
hockey stick, and this is
Tim, can you take it a step back? Because like those are huge compared to what I've seen.
more of a crescent shape. This one here,
Look at the
right here.
size of those.
So,
Yeah.
so you think that's not big?
That's awesome.
That's a big one.
Look at that.
So
Jesus Christ.
that's a two-hander. So yeah, so in Nepal, in the villages and in places, they have these big kukris, and they're used for ceremonial purposes. So in the village, they'll have a post in the village, like a kind of a town square thing, and they'll tie a buffalo by the head to the post, and somebody will be selected to come out with a kukri like that, and one time chop the head off the buffalo. And if he gets it one cut, then it's going to be good luck for the village, and it's a big festival and all this. If he doesn't do it, then it's like everybody's, it's bad luck for the village. And if it doesn't rain, they're going to blame it on that. If they don't get crops, they're going to blame it on that. You know what I mean? So very, very superstitious, but it's, I don't know if it's still going on, but it did for many, many, many years. So, yeah, I got that. That was actually given to me by one of the presidents of the ABA a number of years ago. So,
That is massive. It's
we're,
like that's like 3 feet.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then of course we talk about our daggers. I like the K bar. It's just a good knife. You can wheel it around. Try to keep them as sharp as you can. So if you mess up, you pay for it, right? We do different draws and cuts with the K bar. In Bando we don't actually have a knife purpose defense system. It's about offense, right? It's have defensive tactics, but when it comes to the blades, we're usually coming after you, not trying to take it away. But yeah, lots of different
Which is
draws and stuff.
it's funny when I was in my Kubik Wrong training, I got to Silver Sash and I had to do the knife work to like pass the testing, but I
Right.
told everybody that I would never ever teach this because it was garbage. It didn't make me like the most favorite person there, but a lot of it was like ceremonial, like very ceremonial, and I don't mind the ceremonial aspect of it. I just don't like the this is an actual means of self defense.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's when it comes to some of the cookery or even the K bar or the dog. There's three C's: the combat, the ceremony, and the communion. The communion is again just making the sword part of yourself. I'll show you right now. So actually, let's go back a little bit. So the cookery can be carried on the side like this, right? Or it can be carried.
Go back a bit more.
Yeah. So it can be carried on the side like this. This is how we traditionally do it. But in a lot of the Gurkha photographs, you'll see that they have it like this or across this hip, like this. There's also ones I've seen that are across here that you draw it across your chest. Okay. So when we talk about communion, we're going to just draw the sword out. We're going to bring it across. We're going to present our ancestors, the fallen warriors, right? We bring it back to our forehead. We keep it there until the blade gets warm. Again, we're very serious here. We're thinking. We turn it out, back, and then we do a salutation, and back, and put it away. And we wait. Everybody waits. Everybody waits at the point. Talk to a hut. Everybody puts it away at the same time, right? Now, if I was going to do a salutation to start a drill, we'd start like this. We'd be at ease. The call would come to attention. Draw, come up, salute, back down, put it away. Right? Now, that's the ceremonial style, right? So we'd be marched in to music, and then the drill instructor would say, "Everybody, you call it step one and draw." You do your draw, you stop, and come back to a salute, way, and you go through 9 sets on the different drills. And all the drills, ceremony drills, are the same as combative drills. It's just done in a more, I guess, showy fashion. It's more of a public demonstration. So when we're doing those cuts, we're way out here, right? I'm way out here. I'm not going to do that if it's combat. It's going to be right in here, right? Nice and close and tight, right? So you're not way out there. Another thing too, when we do our cuts, I don't want my cookery out of my vision. I want to be able to see it, right? I don't want the point down in the ground or over here. I want it right at the bad guy. Same as here. I don't go back behind me like this. I come down like this. So it's here. If I need my knee to help at home, you can do that too, right? So there's probably, I know at least 9 or 10 different drill sets. Side hand draw, underhand draw, overhand draw. One's an ascending drill. You start off with 1 cut and it goes all the way up to 9 cuts. There's 3x9 cuts, which is 3 cuts per set for 9 sets. And there's 6x6 sets. There's just lots of different drill sets. But that's the basis of this, is to learn that. And then we start stabbing into logs, cutting rope and bamboo and cardboard, and usually start with paper, right? Try to stick your sword through the paper or the cardboard. And once you get that, then you go up to the logs. You can stick your sword into the log and pick it up on the end of the log. You got a good strike, good thrust, right?
What's crazy to me is when you were talking about the ceremonial, like putting the blade up to your forehead until it heats up. Um, in some of the Gaka stuff I was doing, they actually do the exact same thing.
Is
It's
that
like
right?
they pull out their blade and it goes to the forehead. And at first I was like, why am I holding a knife to my forehead for like 30 seconds? And they were doing the exact same thing. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. G is always on us about the proper citation to our fallen veterans and soldiers. One of the mission statements
100%.
in Bando is honor veterans, Axis and Allied. We don't like the bad guys, but they were still soldiers. They still did, what a soldier does. So that we have to, honor what they did, not the side they chose, right? Veterans all the way around, or where would we be without them, right? But
Oh, Tim, I
yeah,
got another
sorry,
question for
sure,
you.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, here's a question: how different is your methodology from what the Gurkhas did use?
How did what? Sorry, what happened? Oh,
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
I'll be back, I'm sure. So, how different is your methodology from what the Gurkhas used?
Uh, I would suggest not vary at all. A lot of the stuff that Dr. G has taught us is directly from what the Gurkhas did. You got to remember when the British,
Okay.
they tried to fight the Gurkhas in the town of, or the village of Gorkha. Yeah, the British in 1810, I believe it was, and British were there. They were going after them, and so the British are marching in with their the bayonet charge or whatever they're doing. The Gurkhas were just dropping down and cutting up, and those sets and those series of cuts are the things that we're learning. So, and I've seen some things online um, in England that the Gurkhas are doing. They have a couple of different ones they're doing, but there's 2 that I've seen that they're not following what we call our safety principles. So when we cut, we always make sure we clear a path for the sword. So you won't see me draw my sword with my left foot back. You won't see me draw my sword with my left leg out, right? I make a path for the sword. So that's one of the things that I noticed, that the one video I watched of the Gurkhas in England doing their practice, they were pretty close to chopping their leg off a couple of times. But
Oh,
this
so Big Franco's
guy
back.
punching with a sword, right? And these girls were throwing water around. He's going like that, and what did he do? He came right down on the top of his knee, cut about a 6-inch gash right across the top of his knee. I thought, like, what's going on with that? He just obviously, anyway.
Oof,
Oh,
that's nasty. Wow. Yeah, whatever else you want to show us, like, yeah, I mean, like
quick cookery
whatever.
drill.
As far as I guess what you guys do, sure.
All right, I'll just so we have an ascending drill, so it goes up to 9 cuts. So I'll do number 8. So we cut it like this. We cut down across, we thrust forward, cut back, spike up, turn, and present. Right. So that's just one. That's just one of the ceremonial draws. So like I said, there'll be 9 sets usually of the draws. There'll be either 3 cuts to a set, or ascending, or there may be 6 or 8 or 9 or whatever. But the important thing is when we get back to this point, is everybody waits, that you don't have everybody's looking around fishing for their cookery trying to get it back in the scabbard. When you're doing a presentation, everybody should be synchronized. So it takes a lot of practice, and and timing and things like that.
Mm.
Tim, do you have
Yeah, everybody being
for
on
example,
time,
and so
right?
do you have do you have basic angles, like for example, like Kitty and some of the other systems that I train in, they had like 4 or 5 basic angles. Do you have the same thing or?
We've all seen this before, right? 9 angles of attack.
Yep.
You
Oh,
see that a
that's
lot. Well,
true.
what we Bando is put numbers to that. Okay, we put that over. So, for instance, if I was going to cut, as soon as we're ready to the scabbard, this is a 753, right? 753 out of the box. 357, 456, 321, 123, 258,
Mm.
852. Right? So we use those numbers to call out our angles. And also, if you take this box and put it onto the floor, now it's our stepping drill. Start left foot in number 1, right foot in number 5, 5 and 9, 5 and 7, 5 and 3, 5 and 1, back to 5 and 9. You do pivots, everything all off of this. Same as our cane or our stick, all of our angles are of attack are off based off these numbers. So if I say, draw and do a 1, 2, 3 cut, it goes right across neck heights, the highest level. You got your medium level and your low level. So those are our angles of attack, and we use the numbers to call out the shots. So if I say 753 cut, everybody knows it's going in the upward 45 degree. If I say 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, it's going across this way, right? So,
Yeah,
so
we got
those
to
are
train.
yes, sir. I love it.
We got to train.
Believe
Plain
me.
and simple. We got to train. That's the kind of stuff
That's
that
neat.
speaks to me.
Do we throw the kukri? Yes. I only have one that I throw because
You
I'm
throw it.
afraid I'm going to break. I'm pretty good with it. I'm not too bad. I've got a board right here that we do a lot of throwing at. It's been around a while. A couple of knives in there. I picked up those ones. You guys know that movie Expendables, and Jason Statham's character's got those knives with the round circle in the end.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about? Well, I picked up a set. I'm not a fan. I don't like that circle. He throws it. He's got a ring. I tried that. I don't like it, but I just like a flat handle and go. But I'm pretty decent, I guess, with a stick and the knife. I'm pretty good with a tomahawk as well, making them stick, and it's just practice like everything else. But being out here in the woods, I can do a lot of things that you can't do in a school in the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can throw.
So that's one of the reasons I bought this property was because it reminds me of the Athens, Ohio, which I know on a much smaller scale. The mountain there was probably 600 meters from top to bottom. We're crawling up there on our bellies and back down again a few times a camp, and then we had war games at night, pitch black at night, can't see 2 feet in front of your face. We're out there with plastic batons acting as kukris, and one team's a down pilot, whatever, and the other team's the recon team, and sometimes there's a flag to capture, this kind of stuff, just all kinds of different scenarios that Dr. G would have us do in the night, honing our skills. You get in the woods at night, you can't see, your smell and your hearing get a lot better. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Great.
With me, it was I
Wow.
go to the U.S. and Dean is not at the airport. He's at Tim's place,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I had to find him at Tim's place.
So that the
So
dojo, Eisen or
yeah,
at
yeah, it was like one of those things. Was like I go to the airport, Tim's not, he's not there. I got to go find him at somewhere else, and he's hanging out with Tim. It was crazy.
It was it was very traumatic for Renee. Yeah.
I got detained for 3.5 hours, but that's fine.
A very traumatic experience.
I was
Yeah.
just looking. I just wanted to make sure that I said, but I think I basically covered the 3 categories and stuff. The way I do my school, like I said before, it used to take 5 years minimum to get your black belt. Actually, not to get your belt. You were then permitted to be a candidate to be a black belt. You still had to go through some process and some approvals of different things in the board and everything. Now they've changed that to if you're a third level or a black belt or higher, then you can make that call on your own. So if you've got a student who's been with you a couple of years and he's really proficient, he's looking good, you can make the recommendation for him to be promoted without the 5-year minimum commitment. My people are all still doing the 5 year. I've got some new people coming in. I'm just assessing them, but so far everybody's been fine with it. They understand that it takes a long time to learn things, and if you want, to earn it properly, you should put the time in. So far so good. But I've got a couple people they might hedge in a few months
Yeah,
earlier
definitely
than the
on
5 year. They're doing really well. So, and when we do become a black belt, you are allowed to wear the ring. Okay, this ring is a world, and it's got an
the
unbroken
Ring of Power.
rope around. Yeah, Hercules, right? Remember that cartoon? Anyway, it's funny. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this ring
The Ring of
back to the
Power.
1200 the pagan dynasty, and the king
Ooh,
commissioned all the guards to wear one of
see.
these rings on their forefinger, and they all drank uh, like a blood oath to the king. Anyway, when they were unearthed whenever they were, they still had the rings on their skeleton fingers. So anyway, Dr. G adopted that as our black belt membership ring. So when you become a black belt, you're permitted to wear the ring. And it's also, once you get the ring, they also teach you how to use it as a weapon. So which is kind of nice. Well, dual purpose.
So, Tim, we got another question. Um, is it
Okay,
possible? Can you show Bando bore material?
I'm sorry.
Can you
Is what?
show Bando bore material?
Bore material?
Correct.
I could show you a little bit.
Sure.
The form just starts out just two, right? Just a lot of elbows. It's very, very. They have a bond. The bore system actually has a double cookery that is really, really good. I don't know it, but it's a really good system. They perform at all the tournaments and things like that. One of the tournaments we have is in May. It's the middle style tournament, so that's your competition tournament where you have all your forms, your weapons and things like that. And there's also sparring, but it's called continuous action, and it's round robin. So the rounds are a minute long, and depending on your division, you might have 8 or 10 guys, and you fight everybody. And they come down to the last two for first and second place. So that's the May tournament. The November tournament is again. So the May tournament's on Memorial Day. The November tournament's on Veterans Day, and it's a full contact kickboxing tournament. Now it's been going on. It did go on for 45 years consecutive before COVID kind of screwed it up. So it was one of the biggest tournaments. It used to be in Columbus, Ohio for like 25 years. I'm not sure where it was before that, and then they moved it to West Virginia after that, and they did quite well. And they had one in the May one this year was pretty good. I'm looking forward to the November tournament this year because I had a couple of guys I'm going to put in it. So and see how that goes. So, but yeah, 45 years consecutive. It's pretty cool to have that kind of history in your system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, huh. I think so. Do you see? I guess I think it's great that Dr. G made that, with intention, that decision not to basically, make it popular or widespread or having a bunch of reps and this. I think that's awesome. I have appreciation for folks that they really, the preservation of it, but also the integrity of it, and that's not seen a lot today.
No, no, true that. That's for sure. Actually, I've got a few. There's a lot of publications out in Bondo. Um, of course, I didn't bring the boar. I have a boar book that's all about boar, but this is one of the publications here, Burmese boxing. It's good information about the early days of Bondo in America and history of Bondo itself. Um, Another one here. There's this fellow here, Lee Cunningham. This guy was amazing. See him breaking the coconut there. So same thing. These are just
Mm,
more times, different times and different training. You can see. I don't know how well you can see that, guys, but and we have this was a one that came out a little while ago in 2014, and it has all of our senior masters and what they did over the years. Randy Webb, great guy. See how he's standing on a bottle on one foot there. He's a great guy. He's our athletic coordinator. Mary Messer, one of our first
yeah.
female presidents. When Mary started in Bondo, there was no women in Bondo for many, many years. I think it was 1982 before there was any women in Bondo. Well, Mary was brought in, and she was no slouch. She didn't put up with any crap from any of the guys. She did what she had to do, and she became one of our best black belts. She's actually the Eagle Master in the Eagle system. So she's it's just great. Um, we have a Bando book, the Bando Discipline, right? And we also have a criteria for promotion. So it's all been very well thought out and documented. So if you want to run a Bando school, get your black belt. You got everything you need. Dr. G used to be available. We have Jerry George now, who is our new Grand Master. He's the Tiger Master as well, which is kind of an in for me because I've been studying the Tiger system. I know a little Eagle, and a little bit of Boar. Done some Scorpion. I've not done any. I've seen some demonstration, but the Scorpion Master is very, very particular about who he trains and the dedication that's required to be a Scorpion person, and that's great. I mean, I appreciate it for that, but I'd like to learn a bit more about that. The Python is our grappling system, basically. The Cobra and the Viper are very
Okay,
fast
makes sense.
strikers, like that, right? The Bull and the Boar are just all muscle, dump trucks, elbows, knees, crashing. They just kind of headbutts. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
the eagle,
Hey,
you'll see somebody the
Tim, are
eagle.
those books available?
They are, but you have to get them through the Bondo store, and I don't know how many prints are left. I can certainly find that out for you. See,
Okay, as
yeah,
long as they're
there's
available.
bring the Boar one out there. I've got dozens of books from Bondo. Everything that was available, I grabbed. And one of the things that I do too is I study a lot about the China, Burma, India theater of the war, because a lot of the stuff that Dr. G talks about, the skill sets and that come from that time. People in the jungle trying to survive and fight against the Japanese and each other. So the kukri was a very good weapon in the jungle. It's not like a long katana; you can handle it better. Out in open field, a little bit different, but it's a very utilitarian weapon. The older one I showed you. So you probably can't see
Oh,
it very well.
excuse me.
A whole bunch of dings. This was made in 1941, by the way. This is World War II service model. So, but on the back you'll see a whole dings and dots where somebody hammering could have been hammering a tent peg or could have been hammering somebody's helmet. Don't know, But and again, this could have been used by one or more persons, right? If a soldier was killed, they just hand his kit to somebody else, right?
Mm.
So, so it may have been used by one or more persons. So it's kind of different. What else can I talk about the kukri? Kukri I could do all night. I wish I had some logs. So I should have brought a log in so I can show you the thrust. So when you hit it, pop, you pick the log up on the end of the knife, and then you got a good technique. Believe me, the first few times I did, I'd be knocking those logs over, and you got to do your push-ups. Well, I don't like doing push-ups, so I learned how to do it right. But the other things
You
we
learn how
do
to
is
do
again
it.
we cut and cardboards and all kinds of things. I mean, just to get that technique built up, because people think if you're going to jump into the combat scene, you're just going to go out there with your knife and be able to handle things. No, I don't think so. If you're cutting air all the time, you gotta build up some resistance. Just like pressure testing anything, right? Any kind of your techniques, you want to make sure they're working, or don't use them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Renee, you
I
got
can explain a
anything?
little bit about drawing and casing if you want, or well,
Yeah, Renee, you got
we,
anything? Renee,
What's that?
okay, Renee, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
is there any more questions about the cookery or the
Please
system in
demo
general?
that
Or
tiger.
I'm sorry, you went all bouncy there. I didn't hear anything.
We got uh, uh, we got somebody asking for a
A
tiger demo.
tiger demo? All right, I can probably do
Correct.
the. Oh.
Yeah, I
So
can barely hear you again.
as I said, when the tiger strikes, we strike with the palm, and then we grab the flesh, right? And when we're doing our tiger form, we start out here, we come out, we lean right out, right? We come back, find the wheel, come back, we turn again, And again, right? So I'm trying to think of the essence of what I'm trying to say here. As much as we can, when we're doing the animal forms, we try to emulate the animal. So when we do our bow, it's like you try to get into the part of the animal itself, right? So when we're doing the tiger, it's a lot of you're gonna try to get low as you can, and you do that stretch out and you reach out and you grab. So you're basically hooking the head and then grabbing right underneath the throat, catching the person underneath.
Okay.
Hook there. Sorry, there's
So
another
what
one. I've had
so what are you,
baby chipmunks. We had like 20 baby chipmunks running around in my other garage, in this garage, and all over the front of the house today. I don't know what's going on. There just seem to be abandoning little baby chipmunks everywhere. Another one just went across the floor.
oh my God.
I
So
don't know what's going
what
on.
do you got? What are your future plans? Like, what do you got far as like spreading the art or whatever? Like, what are your
Well,
plans?
I've got about 21 students that come out here regularly, but I'm also trying to do some camps.
Come on,
I tried 2 years
students.
of camp. I had
Good.
5 people come one year and 2 people come the next year. So I'm not sure what the trick is to get people out, but I'd really like to have a camp out here as far as cooker camp, and I'm going to do a stick camp in the fall too. I've done a couple before, and they turned out pretty good. But cooker camp probably late July. I'm thinking right now,
You
and
gotta
it'll
get
be a
people for that. I mean, I think people would be definitely be interested in that. The cooker camp. I mean,
oh, it's a phenomenal time. They'll learn a lot for sure.
yeah,
And it's yeah. There's a lot to learn. I mean, it's easy to just pull the cooker out and start hitting things, but there's so many little safety tips and intricacies about it when you're even drawing the kukri out. You can't just yank it out. You have to pull it toward the back, and the scabbard goes the back of the blade goes against the back of the scabbard as you're drawing it out. Right? If
yeah,
not, it won't be designed to stay in there unless you do that properly. So,
right.
and then when you put it back, you look down. We're doing a drill team. You have to look straight ahead. When you go to put it back, you don't look down at it. So it takes some time to
That
get
takes
that done
practice
too.
for sure. Yeah. Wow. And
And
so we'll be seeing Dr. G again anytime soon.
I'm planning on going to see him the first week of June. I
Oh,
spoke to
nice. Okay. Okay.
him in April, and he called me I want to say the 3rd of April, and invited me down. But he said, "Wait till the weather's warmer."
Yeah.
So he
yeah. Well.
says, like the cold, he never has. So,
Yeah. I
but,
don't blame him. I don't like it either.
yeah, yeah.
So.
So yeah.
Well,
So the cook said when you're drawing it out, I can't go ahead, but I push it toward the back, push my hand down, and then I draw it out. It'll come right out nice and easy, right? And I'm going to put it away. I don't look at it. I stand like that, right? So that comes with lots of practice and stuff.
yeah.
When you're doing
Yeah.
these over and over again, doing the drill teams, I mean, you're doing a drawing case, 9, 10 times, and you might have a citation with that. So if you keep doing them, you'll eventually be really proficient at it. And when you start doing the combative stuff, it's a lot of fun. Um, we do different ones where you come up behind people, and of course we're using wood ones or aluminum ones when we're doing that stuff. But
Yeah.
a lot of great techniques with the kukri. They're just and be honestly, it's a lot close to the strikes, and the angles are a lot like the Arnis stuff. Um, when we block the flat of the blade goes on our side of our
Mm.
arm. When it comes down, you block and cut back again, right? So very similar blocking and striking pattern that way. As far as locking with the kukri, you can. I don't have anybody to demonstrate, but you can. You put it underneath the arm, and you use it as a lever, and you can kind of march somebody along as a prisoner or something like that. You can show some
Yeah.
of those things. A lot of clandestine type stuff. We have one we call antenna, right? We draw this underhand drawing, right? Right up in between, and you yank it out.
Yeah. That's the perineum, right? Oof.
Yeah, yeah, the cookery's
yes.
nasty. Yeah, I wish I'd been more prepared for doing forms and stuff. I'm been kind
No
of
worries. No, but the folks today, I mean, they got a good idea what Bando's about. You know what I mean? I mean, so,
yeah,
yeah,
like I say, eclectic system, very diverse. A lot of good people in the system. A lot of people have been in the system for like 60 plus years. Last January 2023, sorry, we had a sort of a farewell dinner event for Dr. G, and a lot of the elders were there, and they all got up and spoke, and not a dry in the place, man. These guys were talking about the time they met Dr. G, all the different fights they had, all the different tournaments, and and training and this and that. And it's just so great to hear it all. And like that's 30 years plus what I've done, right? These guys were ahead of me 30 years, and now the
It's a long time. Yeah. Here's
and
another
Doctor.
question from
Go ahead.
do you ever utilize the two smaller knives with the cookery?
Those are called the chop mac and the carta, and one is used for sharpening the blade, and the other is used for preparing meat, like meals or whatever. We do not use them per se because when we're doing our drawing and casing, they get in the way. So they're
Yeah.
more of a survival type of thing, I guess. If you're, and I
Yeah.
don't know most of the pictures I see with the Gurkhas in photographs, they don't usually see those knives either. They
With
usually
them.
take them out, but they are useful. I have one that I keep in my. I have another cookie same as this, but it's a lot better shape. It's not all beat up like this one. But I keep my smaller knives in that one, and the one is very very sharp. So yeah, I could use it, no problem at all.
But then
But
you're
typically,
saying more like food prep and et cetera, sharpening.
slicing something up, yeah,
Gotcha.
stuff like that. One
Okay.
is used as a steel sharpen the blade. Yeah.
Nice. So where can folks get a hold of you if they're interested? I mean, I can't imagine there's a ton of Bando instructors, you know.
I have a belt in London, and his name's Chris Keeler, and he's actually a second level under me, and that's it. There's me and him.
I was gonna
They're all
say, I mean,
in Canada. There was a fellow in Alberta and another one in Toronto. They're both doctors, and Dr. G and them. They bought a piece of property in Manitoulin Island. You're not familiar with that, Dean. I'm sure Renee is. It's just a beautiful nature's place. It's a big island. Anyway, Dr. G had almost 40 acres there for years and years. Him and these other two doctors, and he bought them out because they stopped going. And then one of the other Bondo guys, a friend of mine, Kenny Gleason, bought the property off of Dr. G, and he still has it. So and it's beautiful. It's right on Lake Huron, faces the west. Beautiful sunsets, beautiful land. It's just
uh,
that was something I found out sort of just in conversation with Dr. G. He told me how much he loved Canada and Manitoulin Island. Have you ever been there? And he looked at me funny. He goes, I own property there.
he's like, what do you mean?
What? So yeah. For me, like I've been the only Canadian in the system.
I was gonna say, I just hope you guys are be able to continue to perpetuate it. You know, I'd be ashamed to.
Oh, I've got some kids here that are going to be great. I've got a family. They're the two sisters and a brother. They've been coming 2 years now, actually more than 2 years. And about 4 months ago, they started using real cookery, and they're 16, 14, and 12.
Yes.
And I with them using the cookery. They're proficient. They're safe. They're getting very very good. They're not doing anything fancy. They don't do the flip that you see me do. They're very methodical.
Yeah.
How they when you do the cookery, if you're going to do by the numbers, you draw it, do your cuts, and when you bring it back, you bring it out. You bring it so that the crux of the cookery goes into the lip of the scabbard. And you just draw it up, and it
Mm,
drops right. You put it away, right? The other thing we never do is we never wrap our hand around the scabbard like that, right? When you're drawing it out, because the only thing separating those two pieces of wood in the scabbard is a little thin piece of leather, and your blade will cut through there. And you're
sure.
holding on, pull it out, you're going to get cut, right? So you don't want to have that. But yeah, these kids are like I said, 12, 14, and 16. Actually, right
And
is going to be
good.
50.
Need the younger generation to keep it going, right? I mean,
When I look at them and see them and they do so well, I just like my heart just swells because I know that they will be able to carry it on if they so desire, and that's my hope. You know, same as Chris, my black belt. He's starting to come. He went away and did some jiu-jitsu for a while. He's actually got his blue belt with a couple of stripes on it, but he's been kind of coming back, and he just wants to come back with kukri mostly. But we did some stick stuff the other night. When he was training with me, he started with me in 2010. Trained with me for a year. We went to Connecticut, or no, sorry, Cape Cod,
keep on.
and
Yeah.
he did well. He did three golds and a silver
Uh,
as a white belt.
Oh,
So
nice.
one was a no contest, but he did get up and perform his form in front of everybody. But
Yeah.
he was the only one that particular division. There was nobody to compete against, but he still got up and did his thing. So
Sure, sure.
yeah, I'm super proud of him for only been training with me for a year, but he's really into it. He got his black belt in 2014, first one, and I promoted him in 2019 to his second level. So,
Wow,
yeah,
nice.
and but I got all kinds of brown belts. They seem to disappear. They come forever, and then I can't come, and then you won't see them for a few months, and then
The brown belt
they
blues.
so used to call them up. Hey, you want me to come get you? Just anything to get them out here, but not anymore. I haven't done that for a long time.
Yeah, you can't chase. Yeah, I just don't chase either one or you don't. You know what I mean?
want to be here, they'll be here.
That's
So
what I mean. Exactly. I same way. I don't have time. Yeah, it's either. Right. Well, this is awesome. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. This is great.
yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too. I'm trying to hoping to answer the right question and stuff. I'm sorry I wasn't a little more prepared to do some demos,
Oh my
but
God, no worries. No, I love certainly more informed on Bando. Renee has got
once
technical
I get
difficulties.
the Facebook Messenger deal, or I mean, give me a call. I'll give you my number if you like, or my email. Um,
Yeah,
Other than that,
anybody
as far
watching, if you want more information, absolutely, just contact around Facebook Messenger, and the website is on there. So, um,
so I mean, we could talk about a lot of things about the emblem and cross swords. There's so much to talk about, but if you
oh, here,
any
wait.
questions, all
No, can he recommend any finger strengthening exercises for the bond?
for Naban and for Bando, I'll show you a couple of the ones that I like to do.
Sure.
So we've all seen these things, right? They come
Yeah.
right. What I like to do is I put a dime or a poker chip in the bottom there, hold it tight, and then I'll start. And if the thing drops
Great.
out, do finger push-ups, right? Just on my fingers, either three fingers or all five. Right? I don't do one finger push-ups. I tried, almost broke my damn finger.
Yeah.
The three fingers, and when you do it, you pulse them. You don't do like a full set of just kind of jump them. And that's kind of the things that I do. And also the I use sand too. I just grip it, just reach in and just kind of mush the sand with my hand, kind of a thing. Those are the ones that I've been doing, and they work for me because the kukri. I'm sure you guys have seen. There's nothing to stop my hand from sliding by. There's no bolster, right?
Mm.
Grip on a kukri is everything,
Is
right?
everything okay? Okay.
If your hand slides over, it's you're not going to be holding
Yeah.
that kukri
Yeah.
long. Grip. So those are the things that I use to improve my grip. And I also have the, this ball is very dense and hard, so I use that for my shots, and I hit and I squeeze. So you
And
hit and I'll squeeze
squeeze. Okay.
fingers like that. Again, that helps with the tiger strike. So this also helps with my coconut smashing. In Bondo,
Yeah.
we don't put it on a brick and smash it. We hold it in our hand and smash it. So we got the anvil in one hand, we got the hammer in the other hand, and it's difficult. It took me a very 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 long time
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah. Wow.
to hit a coconut and break it in one shot. Right? I'm pretty good at four shots, but it took me a long time to get it in one shot. And I haven't done one in a while, but I'm pretty confident I can pop a coconut
Oh, that's
in one shot
awesome.
because this thing sits at the front of my dojo. Sometimes I'm talking to giving instruction to the kids. I'll just be sitting here whacking this thing, right,
Yeah.
just to keep the skill set up, right? I just turned 61 a couple of weeks ago, so things are getting a little bit harder to stay at a certain peak.
Oh my
There's too much
gosh. I
work.
know. I know.
Trying to eat well and rest well, and
That's
keep
it. But
training.
you gotta keep using it, or you lose it, right? I mean, so
Yeah, sure, for sure.
yeah. But
People see Sparta Bondo. Okay, it's nothing to do with the movie. I live on Sparta Line, just outside the village of Sparta, so
yeah,
that's where it's kind of cool that the movie's out there too, because some
yeah.
people
That's
don't think
smart.
that. Yeah, the
But
village just down the Sparta Line is the name of my road, so
hopefully
that's why we
Renee
chose.
will. Hopefully Renee get a hold of you and
Yeah,
take
oh,
you
I hope
on.
so. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
he'd be foolish not to.
Coming up again, him and Scott Taylor. Do you know Scott Taylor?
The name sounds
Jitsu,
familiar.
very good with the wrist locks. Yeah, he's. I think he just became a Shihan, if I'm not mistaken.
Name
He's
definitely
a,
sounds familiar. Yeah.
he just got his Shihan. Great guy, very very deadly on the ground. If he gets a hold of you, you just cry for your mummy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, guys. And Mark too. Mark and I have known each other quite a while now. We actually shared a room back in North Bay there for the Chris Marceau's Martial Arts Warriors weekend.
Oh, Mark Medeiros?
Yeah, Mark Medeiros and I. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
shared
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a good, yeah, yeah.
super
Actually,
guy.
he sent me a message saying I got to catch up with him. But yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely on Mark. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm coming up there. Mark's actually bringing me up.
That's September the 7th.
No, September.
September something. I remember. Yeah, no, I told Mark to make. I'll
Yeah,
be there. I'm looking forward to it
twenty
because I'm
first, 21st. That week, the
20.
weekend of the 21st.
Okay.
That weekend, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be neat if you could swing by and have you do some whatever you want to do some Bando demos, whatever.
Yeah. No, I'd love to.
Oh my God, if you
What?
come by, I definitely would love to see some. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
No, I'll plan on being there. Like I said, I was looking forward to meeting you because I haven't met you before. So
yeah, yeah, that would be nice. And
said you're
Renee
doing
can
some.
get back in, but Mark has a skin condition. I hope Renee's kidding. Oh my gosh, she is just too much. um, oh my god. But well, also, but again, no, thank you for coming on, and yeah, I'll definitely be in touch, and hopefully somebody will reach out to you. But I got the website, and yeah, hopefully, I mean, folks will the books will know, and if they want more interest
Yeah,
or whatever.
means everybody's welcome to come out, and yeah, I'm an open book.
It's awesome.
I love to share. I love to share, and if people come out, they don't leave unhappy, and don't plan on coming for an hour because there's no such thing as an hour out here.
Yeah, but
A while.
yeah, hopefully you'll come to, yeah, hopefully we can be on the 21st. I would love for you to show some stuff for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely
Yeah.
will. I will. I'll bring cable. I'll just bring a bunch of stuff. I can do a couple of forms if you like.
Oh
Yeah.
my, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure the guys would love it. Absolutely.
Anything
Yeah.
to Bondo, I'm in because
Yeah.
we need some more numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely. Well, I'll have you guys do it. Maybe you can pick up some numbers while I'm up there. I mean, we'll have you definitely show stuff for sure. Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark's done some stuff with cooking, not a whole lot, but he I gave him one a while back. He was actually supposed to come to the camp, and I had the fee was you could get a fee with just the fee or a fee with the kukri. Well, he wasn't able to make it, but he paid his fee, so I sent him the kukri anyway.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Got it. Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
trying some different things.
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
All right. Well, Tim, thank you.
hey, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. I don't know what happened to Renee there,
I
but
something tech. Yeah, he's saying he can't get back on for
but I'm just
something.
happy the thing worked the time we were talking because
Oh yeah, no, you were
I was
fine. Yeah, it's something
worried it wasn't going to work on my phone. So,
we got to figure out what's going on with Renee. Yeah.
so,
All
so this
right.
is the dojo basically. I got bags hanging
Oh, look at
right,
that. Yeah.
a couple of spoon bags right. You can have a look here. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is some of our camps. There's a
Yeah.
kickboxing tournament. Here's some of the camps outdoors, right? We're all outdoors here, right? This is my uncle right here. This is what got me into boxing and martial arts in the first place was him. He used to spar Jake LaMotta when he was 17 years old.
Jake LaMotta. Oh my gosh.
This is the Dr. G that I never knew. Was this here? That's Dr. G. Quite a bit younger and stuff, right?
Yeah.
More more Dr. G stuff here. More
Look at
pictures.
that.
These are copies because I just put them in here so the kids can see them. The full size versions are in my
Gotcha.
basement and stuff. Nate Carnage Corbett, an Australian Muay Thai guy. This guy's great. I did a couple of seminars. Well, I attended a couple of seminars with him. Fantastic. John Bones
Yeah.
Jones, met
Yeah.
him. Hugh was up there. I didn't see Gracie. I didn't see that fight, but he did a seminar in London
Okay.
at one of the.
All kinds of stuff going on as far as tech issues. You hit a part of that. Oh, there you go. You're back. Okay, you hit a part of the basement that must have been.
Oh, sorry, there's a poster here of Dr. G that shows the early days here, and this is what he looked like when I met him in the late '90s, and this is more to what he's looking like these days now. But that's one of the posters they had made up a while back.
Oh, okay.
I had to grab that. And then there's the Dr. G Father's Regiment, the Princess Mary's Own,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
Yeah, it works pretty good. Lots of fitness
No, it's an awesome
equipment, lots of
setup. Yeah.
balance being there because one of our forms called line form.
Ooh, that's right. See if he gets to that good part of the basement again as far as reception. Or maybe not. At any rate, folks, I think I'm gonna wrap it. All right, yeah, okay. Well, he was just pretty much finished up anyway, just showing his setting down there, which is quite nice. So, who is next? So next week, big fan of this guy, Tim Rivera. He's going to be talking about the Spanish fencing. And so that's going to be next Wednesday. You'll see the flyer posted in FMA discussion as always. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I did. Oh my gosh, it was me, him, Alec Jundas, and the other last person's name is escaping me. But at any rate, they all we had them on FMA discussion, and yeah, well versed, well read on the subject in there. So I'm really looking forward to that. So next week, Tim Rivera, Spanish fencing. Yeah, should be. I'm quite excited. As far as FMA discussion, bringing a couple of folks. One minor niece, older generation, is coming on, and who else? Working out couple of scheduling issues, some scheduling as far as a couple of other folks coming on. But at any rate, FMA discussion, yes. Look, I'll know actually over the weekend, but yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Somebody's minor niece was back in the day, camps, the whole thing, so he'll shed some light on, some of the original history and what was taught and et cetera, and single Sinawali versus Tappy Tap, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But anyway, folks, thanks for jumping in and watching, and I will see you, if nothing before next Wednesday, which I'm not sure about. Definitely Wednesday. Again, 7 o'clock. Tim Rivera. There's Tim. Absolutely, Tim, anytime. And folks, if you're interested in learning Bando, those books, I put the website on here, and of course, you can get a hold of Tim via Messenger. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing him up in Canada and have him show some stuff. I've always been interested in Bando. All right. You guys have a good night.